And today, Donald Trump saying he will rebuild roads and bridges, and he'd also do it on a tight budget.
Our infrastructure is that of a third world country. Not anymore. And I'm very good at building, remember that. And I build under time and under budget. Very important. You don't hear that from government very often.
Financial expert Celia says that's the problem with big government. A lot of promises, and ultimately someone has to pay for it. Dan, welcome to the show. Both sides, I think, are going to go for infrastructure. Both sides are going to go for infrastructure. That's low-hanging fruit, according to the American Society of Civil Engineers. It's going to cost $3 trillion. So there's a lot of ways to create a lot of, at least temporary jobs there. But can it be done the right way? And would it take us down a path of even bigger government?
Well, I think no matter what, Charles, we can't go down the path of bigger government. That's a huge problem. And do we need infrastructure? Sure we do. But we've got to figure out a way to pay for it. And I think if we're going to have infrastructure projects, which we need, which will put people to work, Donald Trump has to talk about exactly where the cuts are coming from. I happen to believe that with his economic strategy, he is thinking about and has thoughts and ideas and developing those ideas about shrinking the size of government. That's very important. We can't have one without the other, and I think we're going to see that, and I think we're going to see the details of that.
But the biggest parts of government spending, Social Security, Medicare, and defense, are not going to be cut under Donald Trump. In fact, we're going to double the size of the military. So we're talking about finding a whole lot of fraud, waste, and abuse. We know it exists, but every president promises to find it and cut that fat, cut that marbleized fat out of the government. What about, and also lower taxes? So we really need to see supply-side economics on steroids.
And it has to be on steroids, and I think there's room for it to be on steroids, because what we have to remember is what we've seen for the last 7 years. And we've got, it's so much more bloated, so much more concentrated in growing, and I think it's going to be not easy. It's not going to be an easy task. But Ronald Reagan did that. Ronald Reagan went through every department but the Department of Defense, and he cut the size of every single department. His goal was 5%. He ended up with much more than that. And I think they're the kinds of things that we've got to look at. We've got to look at the ideology in which the detail of the plan is going to be built upon. And that's what's important. And I think we're going to see a major ideological shift in that.
Well, you know what? We had Ronald Reagan, and he had a great partner in Paul Volcker. Americans took the Payne for about a year, and then we were on that golden road of prosperity for all. Dan, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Charles.
Meanwhile,
Great
Donald
being
Trump
here.
is touting